Our distribution companies did change throughout our drafts. The first draft, we forgot all about the distribution company. The second draft, we used Fox Searchlight, but hadn't done much research on it as it was a massive company. The third draft, our distribution companies did change throughout our drafts. The first draft, we forgot all about the distribution company and didn't include it. The second draft, we used Fox Searchlight, but we realized it was a massive company, but we didn't have time to change it. This third draft, we was thinking to use IFC Films, but realized it was a US distribution company. So we then did further research and decided to use Pathé. This was a distribution company that we thought suited our opening sequence. So we kept it and used it for draft 4 and 5 and included film 4 in draft 3 and 4 and 5. All the distribution and production company we thought suited our opening sequence and was within the UK. Due to the target audience, Film 4 concentrates to keep British films alive. Film 4 produced many classic English films such as Trainspotting, which was targeted at a niche audience. Pathé released Slumdog Millionaire. This was also targeted at a niche audience. This relates back to why we chose the production and distribution companies to put in our opening sequence.
My name is Pamela Eunice and I'm answering question 3. Film 4's reputation. We use this for our opening sequence. We done research about it before we actually used it. It tells Film 4's production house channel with the respective purpose of producing and broadcasting alternative films. And Film 4 is committed to British films, making industry by nurturing and funding new talent, winning 5 Oscars in 4 years and 3 BAFTAs 2007 alone. Film 4 has an incredible reputation for making and showing alternatives and challenging films. That is the Film 4's reputation. However, we also use Pathé as our production company. Pathé UK has a major presence within the UK industry. It also involves in all aspects of filmmaking and production. Since it was established by Charles Pathé and his brother at the end of 19th century, Pathé has remained one of Europe's preeminent entertainment companies. Pathé produced a transgender film called Breakfast on Pluto. Because Pathé produced a transgender film, we thought as a group that Pathé would be a great company for it to produce our opening sequence as it has done before. Film 4 produced a Trainspotting film that was based on a niche audience. Because Film 4 produced a niche audience before, we thought as a group that Film 4 would be great to produce our opening sequence, as our opening sequence is also based on a niche audience. This also was similar to Trainspotting, as it also produced a niche audience. So our budget is very small, as it's 7.5 million to make our opening sequence. This can be one of the reasons why it is based at a niche targeted audience, compared to mainstream where it takes £200 million to make. We are only selling 1.5 million to our distributors, as our opening sequence is based on a niche targeted audience. Therefore, we don't have to spend that much money, and we're not expecting that much profit back. This would be the case because we only have small parts of a segment that will actually watch our opening sequence. We are not expecting a lot of people to watch it there. It's because not many people are going to watch a film about transgender, as it's not compatible for so many people such as Muslims or Indians, as that is not acceptable in their culture.
I'm Jodie Foster. In the research phase, what distribution company did you research and what did you learn? 20th Century Fox was the first distribution company we used. This company is a massive conglomerate which wasn't good for our film as our film was for a niche audience. We had to do better research on our other drafts to find the correct distribution company for our film. IFC Films was our second choice of distribution company. This time we chose an independent distribution company instead of a mainstream to match our film as it is a transgender and for a niche audience. We then found out this was an American distribution company and decided not to use it. Finally, the two distribution companies we chose were Pathé and Film 4. We chose Pathé as it has produced transgender films in the past. We chose Film 4 as it is an independent British distributing company.